Yeah, because it's totally different between the JKD mindset and the Jiu-Jitsu mindset. Because I
Yes.
remember, and I actually had this conversation with Henry Atkins, that it is considered creonte if you train somewhere else, and it's
Yes.
even worse if you train other martial arts.
Hmm.
But in the other hand, JKD is very open to other martial arts, right?
Well, I will say this. Many instructors, yes. Not all JKD instructors. For example, when I learned Calis Illustrissimo and came back from my training, I got in trouble with my JKD group
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't so accepting.
Oh,
And that's a whole nother story. But in general, Jeet Kune Do, yes, is much more open than some of the other, I wouldn't say styles. It has to do more with instructors.
okay.
And
Not the style.
so, yes. So it's not so much the style, it's the instructor. I know some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors who are very open-minded and they cross-train. I know other Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors who are very narrow-minded and have devoted their entire life to the art of Jiu-Jitsu. And that's good, but to say others are creonte, they are a trader because they train other styles, I think that's a bit heavy. That's a bit too much because it's my life, and you have your life, this other person, they have their life. And so, yeah, and this whole idea with somebody being a trader, it's not specific to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It happens in other styles. I've experienced it in the Chinese martial arts, in the Japanese martial arts, in the Filipino martial arts, in the French or Russian martial arts. So it has to deal more with people than the style. Does that make sense?
Yeah, or probably because the instructor they're just afraid that if you train in some other place, that some other place will learn his teaching
Mm-hmm.
from you. That's probably it, I think. Just because he's
Yes, and I understand that. But here's the here's the interesting thing about martial arts in the last 40 years is martial arts in America has become very commercial. People teach for money, and that used to not be the way of martial arts. It used to be something that was handed down from father to son. It was something that was held for a community because it represented a village or a town or a community having the ability to defend itself against some force, some opposing force that was going to try and take over their land. So it wasn't really commercialized. So now that money is involved, people are concerned that their teachings are going to end up in the hands of other people. And I get that, but let's be honest, since things are the way they are right now, if I don't want my teachings to go out beyond myself, then I shouldn't teach.
yeah,
Those are my thoughts, my feelings. Because when I teach someone and I take somebody on as a student, to me, the student-instructor relationship is like the father-child relationship. You expect that child to go out and present himself or herself in a manner that represents you. And people are going to learn from that. And so, yeah, I get it. You don't want your information to go out. And that's why some masters have gone to the grave with their knowledge. They have died with their knowledge because they didn't want other people to learn their material. But I think in today's world, if you teach for money, you have to accept the fact that other people are eventually going to learn it somehow, some way.
yeah, makes sense for today. In
Yes.
this world, yeah. That makes sense. And you created your online program, right?
Yes, yes, I did.
And so many critics from jiu-jitsu practitioners. How did you resolve this situation? I mean, don't get me wrong. I myself learned a lot from online programs, from Henry Akin's Hidden Jiu-Jitsu mainly now. And I cannot go to America and train regularly, but because the instruction is so clear and it's so easy for me to understand and get it, get it right. And
Mm-hmm.
many people learn from YouTube videos, and yet they still able to execute techniques right. And
Mm-hmm.
frankly, before there was a jiu-jitsu school in my area, I was about to register to Gracie University online program.
Mm-hmm.
How do you resolve this situation when critics from jiu-jitsu practitioners?
In the world of business, they have an interesting expression. It goes like this. You know how you can identify the leaders in an industry?
Mhm.
Simple. They're the people with the arrows in their back.
Okay.
And so leaders are people who go down a trail, they go down a path
Mhm.
that no one has gone down before. And because some people don't like change and don't want change, they become critical. They become judgmental. And then they shoot them in the back with an arrow of criticism.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening over time, if this leader goes down a path that eventually becomes popular, then the other people follow suit, and the criticism is no longer an issue. And so I went down the path of, I've done this, going down a path that other instructors said, no, this is horrible. I've done this so many times. I did it with leg locks. I
Uh-huh.
did it with wrist locks.
Yeah.
I did it with takedowns from the knees. I did it with having a structured program for belt testing. I did it with online courses. And so I'm used to the critics who say, oh, that can't work, this can't work. Here's what's interesting about the whole online thing. COVID-19 changed all of that.
Yes.
Now that other instructors are teaching online, and even a small amount of instructors are actually promoting their students online, now suddenly it's okay.
Yeah.
So yes, I was either the first or one of the first to talk about these things and start doing these things. And I'm very happy to see other instructors and other academies starting to follow suit and to have online courses and to even have online testing through video. Because there's really very little difference between video and online. There are some differences, but they're very little. And so I think technology is great, and I look forward to seeing how we in this jiu-jitsu industry or martial arts industry, how we're going to grow through online videos.
Well,
I think that yes.
I mean, I can understand what in my case, Henry. I can understand what Henry tries to teach because of his deep understanding of the techniques, his detail.
Yes.
So why not?
Yes.
I can
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I can ask him. I can make videos if I have any troubles, and he solves the problem. So why not? I mean, yes, in some ways, like pressures, you have to feel the pressures, right?
Mm-hmm.
But well, it works.
Yes, it works. And just like everything else in life, you have this group of people that don't want change, and this group of people that they're open to accept change.
Mm,
And, life changes. It's one of the most constant things in life is change.
change.
And so I think it's important as students and instructors that we be open to change, and then we ourselves adapt.
Yes, correct.
I think that's an important skill set to have in life.
Yes.